And we're off. Today is it the 21st, October 21st?
22nd.
22nd.
But by the time this goes out, it'll be the 24th.
Something like that. Anyways, so we're back. Took a month off. A lot of exciting things happened. Not so exciting things happened. But we'll let Danny explain where he went. Somewhere really cool, exciting. Danny, where'd you go?
So, of course, we've been gone for about a month, a lot of activities. But for me, I was in Bali. First time there. Amazing trip. I was there for a little bit over a week. A lot of traveling, but Bali's amazing. Um, Man, there's so much to say about Bali.
Well, I'll ask the questions.
Go ahead.
What's the exchange rate like? Or does the dollar get stretched out a lot, or are you able to buy a lot of things?
Dollar absolutely gets stretched out a lot, and that's most places in Southeast Asia. That's why so many people are going there for tourism, because you get the combination of two things. You stretch out your dollar, it goes out farther, and safety. It's very safe.
So it's to say you felt safe the whole
Very,
time you were there. You weren't gonna get jumped, mugged, or anything like that.
no, not at all. Did not have that kind of feeling. I mean, it's Asians though. Asians are good people. Like, when was the last time you felt threatened by Asian to like rob you or anything like that?
Never.
Right?
All the Asian people I know are super nice and smart and,
I lived in
hard workers.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
I lived there for 8 years, and the majority of them are Asian. They've all been great people. So yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I like going to Asian countries, because people are always great, friendly.
How long was that flight?
So here, Arizona to LAX is about an hour. And then from LAX to Singapore is a straight shot for 16 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a rough one. That
Oh
is
my
rough.
Gosh. You can't even sleep the whole flight.
That one I couldn't. On the way back, I somehow did for a little bit, but that LAX to Singapore, I had some catch and goes, but man, still wasn't anything.
Oh, that's crazy. So I would like to know, because when I go on vacations, I'm big on the food, right? Culture, yeah, it's cool, but I'm big on like their food. How was the Bali food? What do you equate it to?
I just finished Singapore to Bali, takes about 2 hours. And the food's really good. It's your typical Asian food, I'd say. Fried rice, fried noodles, a lot of eggs, chicken. So if you like that type of food, it's for you. We had a lot of fresh fruit, some fresh vegetables too, which is good.
A lot of seafood, you think?
I actually didn't really try seafood. I had raw seafood but I didn't like it. I was trying to compare it with Hawaii, but it just wasn't
Not the
there.
same thing.
No, it wasn't the same thing.
Would you say because it's Bali and Hawaii have different like regulations of how clean that meat has to be or how fresh it has to be?
That was a good question. I don't know. I didn't look into that. I know one thing you don't have to worry about is like water, especially getting ice in your drinks. Because I know that's a concern in some countries in Southeast Asia. I think like Philippines, where you could get sick from it. Like our stomachs don't they don't filter that water first. They just get potable water, freeze it, get ice cubes, put it in your drinks, and then you get sick.
Oh, you get sick from the ice cubes?
Yeah, because of the water.
Interesting.
So, but in Bali, from what I hear, that they filter the water, then they make it into ice. And they probably just caught on over time that Westerners were getting sick.
Yeah, and of course, if that happens too much, they're going to change it so they don't get sick, so they have more tourism and stuff. Well, that was cool. So, all in all, that was a fun trip.
Fun trip, highly recommended. I think the best things were like the massages, because you get massages for about $15 an hour, and they're great quality massages. It's not like, because it's cheap, it's not going to be that great. No, it's like really good quality, great atmosphere massages.
Now, did you stay at a resort hotel? What did you end up doing?
We rented what's called a villa. So it's like a little house. Our villa had like a pool, had like a open patio concept, and then we had an air conditioned room, and then our bathroom had like a tub plus a shower head on it, like the rainfall type water. So very nice, very spacious. And for that, on the Airbnb with all the fees and whatnot, it came out to about $80 a night.
Wow. That seems very, very nice. That feels like old school Rocky Point. Well, Rocky Point used to be cheap. Now it's as expensive as going to Cali sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. I got to go to San Carlos for one of the weekends that we couldn't film. I haven't been there in 25 years. 25 years. It's changed a lot. It's a beautiful, like, kind of equated to Rocky Point, but I think it's better. A ton better. It's more of a beach town feel. There's not really a lot of skyscrapers and resorts like that. There's some. We stayed at one, which was top notch. I definitely recommend it. Forgot the name already, but I can look it up in the map. It was a great time. The food was phenomenal. I did a couple videos for my family members and sent them over. Uh, Dude, seafood was fresh. Blew me away how good it was.
Was it cooked seafood or raw?
I had a cocktail. I think it was cooked and then put into this like cocktail mix that they brought in this big tub or bowl. That was my favorite thing there. Super fresh. You can taste it. It was delicious. It had octopus. It had some other kind of fish. It had shrimp and then scallops. It was just delicious. I had that twice. We went to the same restaurant twice. We were there for a couple of days. And their carne asada places, they were top notch. And what blew me away is I always thought they used corn tortillas. No, everywhere uses flour tortillas. And I'm used to eating corn tortillas, but then after having the flour tortillas down there and the way they make it, it's delicious.
Maybe the tourists liked flour over corn.
I think that, well, I was talking to one of the taco guys and he goes, no, the corn is more, harvest more south, central and south Mexico. There's more of that down there. So that's why they make tortillas out of corn down there. But they don't have the good carne asada down there. He was telling me they make it out of shredded beef and some other stuff down, the more south you go into Mexico. That's okay. Yeah, carne asada is big in like the Sonora and Chihuahua. The border states. Those are famous for carne asada, which is something I got to learn from going to different places up there. So that was pretty cool. And another weekend, we went and saw the solar eclipse in Utah. My wife's family, we went up to stay the night at St. George, Utah, which is a great place. I recommend people to go down there. They have awesome lakes, really cool outdoor stuff. They have Zion's is right by there. There's a lot to do, and that place has grown tremendous as well. It's a fun. I don't want to say town because it feels like a suburb. It's like a Chandler or Gilbert, right? And it's pretty big. They have a couple, like 3 or 4 cities right next to each other, so it's like an East Valley kind of vibe without a downtown. That's all it is. And then we went 2.5 hours up to this place called Monroe. Got to see the eclipse from the old Airbnb we rented right off of Main Street. And what was crazy is that the Saturday morning, like 4 a.m., the air alarm went off, like air raid. Like, you hear from tornadoes and stuff. And like, if you're on a military base, it's like Pearl Harbor. You hear that and you're like, something's happening. And it took us a minute to find out what happened. My wife called the sheriff's department or police department and found out that it was what they use for volunteer firemen in the town. There's a fire in the town next to us that had a pretty bad fire, and they needed to get as many people out there to volunteer and stuff. So that was pretty neat. And that's pretty much, why we took a month off. And now we're back.
Well, let me ask you some questions about San Carlos. First of all, did you feel safe?
I didn't feel threatened, if that makes sense.
But like overall, like safe, like can you walk around just fine?
Yeah, everyone was cool. Even though there's a town called Miramar in between, where, Guaymas is. That's why we went. My grandmother passed away, our grandmother. That's... they live in Guaymas, but they, 2 towns over, San Carlos. Miramar is in the middle. Beautiful little beach town as well. I felt safe, yeah. No, there's no one screwing with you. I felt more threatened by the federales, stopping us, searching the car and stuff. I'm like, oh, is this guy going to throw a bullet in there or something just to screw with us? But those are the only people I honestly kind of feared. The cartels, there's no cartel. You buy the new toll roads that they have there, they bypass Hermosillo. You go all the way to San Carlos. It's a safer ride or a safer trip to San Carlos than Rocky Point, I felt.
Fascinating. I mean, the news makes it look like cartel runs the entire country of Mexico.
And you know what? I was a victim of the news. I was scared to go back to Mexico. That's why I didn't go back for 25 years.
Oh my God, the news will scare you.
And when you get there, you're like, no, dude, this is like, all these little towns are safe as heck.
It's just like saying here in the U.S., there's parts of Phoenix you don't go to. There's parts of Detroit you don't go to. There's parts of Chicago you just don't go to.
Well, there's parts of Chandler and Gilbert you don't go to.
It's the same deal with Mexico. There's just certain areas you just don't go to. But, I mean, if you're a tourist, though, not too many know where to go. So it's one of those things you have to kind of research and understand where are the good, safe vacation spots away from all the sketchy places.
San Carlos is definitely, there's a lot of Americans there. You can recognize who they are easily, but they're there to go boating and, there's beautiful houses. That guy that I talk about, Andy Elliott, he has a house in San Carlos. He does videos there.
Maybe San Carlos is just like right now, the current, little gem that they don't
It's a
want.
gem.
They don't
It
want
is a
people to
gem.
know about right now until it
I
starts
wouldn't either.
exploding on
It's-
social media and people start going there.
But you know what? There are resorts that are going up that I saw that they're building.
Mm.
So it's gonna get bigger, but their main streets, it's nicer than Rocky Point. I'll tell you that right now.
It would. The thing is, it could become like the next Rocky Point, right?
Well, I think it was Rocky Point before Rocky Point. It was always a nice little beach town, and I think they're trying to get the more tourism. It's a longer drive, but a lot of people will tell you it's a nicer place. I know a lot of people that prefer San Carlos over Rocky Point.
I think the only way for San Carlos to blow up in popularity is if like a cruise line pulls in there in port.
Yeah, I don't see that yet, but if that happened, wow, yeah.
They do have the ports, like they're out there.
There's one in Guaymas, I know that, but no one wants to go to Guaymas.
No, yeah, Lima still run down.
It's run down. It's a city, you know, and it's heavily populated. It's so much more popular than it was when we were kids. It is so much more populated. The poverty level there it's sad. It is
really?
sad to see how poor that city has turned into.
I mean, well, Bali is very poverty, but people are very happy.
Not
Guaymas. Poverty and just misery.
I don't know. Poor people. If that's all you know. I mean, you're gonna be. I guess you're accustomed to it, and you'll find happiness. You know, you don't have like.
Does Guaymas come off sketchy though?
It can at night. It looks like it can. I know my aunt didn't want to be there at night, so there's a reason. She grew up there. She didn't want to be there at night. It's heavily populated, but I don't know. During the day, it's just it was fine. But Miramar is a pretty beautiful city, and then you have, like I said, San Carlos at night. You felt safe. You know, no one screwed with you.
Yeah,
I'm sure
there's people like on Google searching where San Carlos is.
San Carlos, Mexico. It's in Sonora. There's bats at night. There's a little bat in like the Airbnb we're at, like in the corner. Like got a good glimpse of it. I was like, that is a bat. And
bats don't mess with you, but they're just
they don't.
weird
But
to look at.
they're scary because they do have rabies. You get a bat bite, you don't turn into a vampire. You'll just die. Eventually,
you gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah, you gotta
right
go to the
away.
hospital quick. But that's pretty much it. You want to go ahead and jump in on the rest of what we got?
So while we've been away and whatnot this whole month, I mean, the first thing I was looking at the news was like, oh, the Middle East is going at it again. Israel and Gaza again. You know, it's not the first time they've done it. They've had their scrimmages, but this one looks pretty intense compared to previous scrimmages.
I'm with you. I saw the headlines. I go on X, which was Twitter, and I see the worst thing since the Holocaust. So I'm thinking some real bad stuff happened. And come to think of it, a lot of bad stuff happened. And then I start going down the rabbit hole. I start talking to friends that are, you know, I don't want to say conspiracy theorists, but they have, you know, their theories. And most of the time they've been right about their theories, you know. So I, you know, just BS talk, you know, get different people's opinions. And it's not just like Republicans, but I have a lot of Democratic friends that I get their opinions and they don't, you know, they tell me what they think. That whole Palestine-Israel thing, I'm not taking a side. There's too much history on both sides, and if you don't listen to both sides, then you're a hypocrite. You can't pick one because there is truth to both sides. There is a reason why they hate each other, right?
Oh, sure.
And these Palestinians, they've been kicked out of their land. Let's be honest, for a long time, and you know they've been getting bombed, which is crazy to me. Is like, if you look at the death count, it's almost 10-1.
Sure.
On how many more Palestinians die over Jews, but we care about the Jews, right? Because the U.S. and Israel, that's our lifeline into the Middle East. Without them,
Jews is a section of people / religion.
Yeah. Well, Israel,
Palestinians it's another just Arab section of people, right? And there's only so many Jews in the world. You know, it's only just
doesn't feel like it, but yeah.
It doesn't feel like it, but yeah. But the whole situation there, like you, it's like I try to research it as much as possible, and I can't come to like a side. Like I can't root for anyone because to me, it feels like they both play.
There's no clear-cut winner. There's no clear. When we start saying that the good side is Israel, we automatically are saying that they're bad, that Palestinians are bad. Then a lot of people shut off and they're like, you know, we're pro-Israel, this and that. When Biden came out, he's Israel.
It's not the Palestinians. It's the militia group / terrorist group, Hammas.
Correct.
But they live in Gaza.
They have bases in
They shield
Gaza.
themselves within the residents when they're shooting
Yes.
at Israel. When Israel defends themselves, of course, there's going to be collateral damage when they're trying to take out Hamas militant groups.
So when there is collateral damage, they can blame it on Israel.
Yeah, and then
you're killing babies.
they both
doing
do this. You're
Like,
killing babies. You're killing
it's
children.
war.
You're killing.
It's war. It's genocide. It sucks, and it's like let them go at it. Let them go at it. Like, why we're sticking our nose again, and then gives everyone else a reason to stick their nose against us. You know, so there's no, like I said, I can't pick a side because I've studied both sides, and like there is no clear cut winner. There's no, you know, it's like, okay, Israel's 61% right and Palestinians are 39. It's not like that. It's not. It's not black and white. It's so gray. You know, it goes.
You watch the local news, and of course it's very sided with Israel, and they're saying, you know, they have the right to defend themselves. Hamas has killed women, children, and babies. They're really emphasizing babies too.
Big time kids.
Now, for me, I don't know if that's true if they've killed babies, but at the same time, I don't want to see the footage. So I'm torn on that. It's hard for me to believe whether they have or have not. I have seen footage of them going into Israel and just killing anyone. Like, anyone out on site.
That's bizarre. That is bizarre. That's a whole level
Just
of evil.
random innocent people, not even military or anything.
Innocent family. That's why you should not give your guns away. Your guns, rifles, ARs. No, I'd be like, this is the exact reason why we have guns. Let them, let the country, one of many, but let those countries try to, you know, and there's pros and cons to that. A, you defend yourself. B, someone else, some nut job can have a gun and go off on you, right? Which I got a story about that later. It's a crazy story.
But yeah, I mean, just watching that in the news, of course, again, it's very swayed towards Israel. You know, innocent people are dying, this and that. But we don't hear about, at least on the mainstream media, you have to see it on like X and whatnot, about the innocent Palestinians.
Right? That's weird, right? Like, there's no innocent Palestinians. I'm telling you, the media doesn't make them out to be innocent unless there's, you know, you see it on social media or something like that, or you see like the, what do they call those Democrats? The tribe or the squad? The squad. They're all pro-Palestine, right? And there's nothing wrong. Like, everyone's pissed off because that one not Talib, but one of the Democrats has a Palestinian flag outside her office, and now if she's Palestinian, more power to her, right? But if she's not and she just has it to antagonize people, then come on. If you're Palestinian, awesome. No,
but this is another situation where the world's going to be torn again. Pro-Israel, and then you're going to have pro-Palestine. It's all over the world. You see all these protests all over the world.
I see more Palestinian protests than Jewish protests. I see a lot of Jews probably not wanting to tell people they're Jew, right? They don't want to have I mean, my point of view is they probably aren't protesting because, well, they don't have to protest. They already have the U.S. funding, right? They already have the U.S. helping them. But the Palestinian protests, they're big.
They're everywhere around the world, and people waving their flag. And,
all around the world.
But it's not like they're Palestinians. They're probably just Arabs supporting Palestinians or woke people too, right? Because there's a lot of Arabs in the world.
A ton. That. And they have... was it France, like hardcore deporting people if they have protests?
Any support of
Palestine, you're gone.
Let me look that up. But keep talking about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I read something about that. It's France and someone else.
I think it was Germany.
Germany, yes, you're right. Germany, they're not putting up with that crap. They're gonna start deporting people if you start doing riots. If you start doing BLM type of trashing places or starting fights, you're gone. They're just going to put you on a plane, boat, whatever, on a bus and take you back to where you come from. So it is Germany and Palestine.
I mean, Reuters says like Germany and France bans dozens of pro-Palestine protests. Yeah. I guess in those countries you can ban protests, huh?
Well, I don't want to say a theory. I want to go over something I heard on PBD's podcast because, you know, Brian that's on there was talking about, he's Jewish, and he was talking about he was just in Jerusalem. They had Charlie Kirk. Do you know what Charlie Kirk is?
I don't remember.
He's like a hardcore. I don't want to say he's hardcore Republican, but he is Republican. He was on the show, and they were talking about was this planned? And they got into the conversation because from Jerusalem to Gaza, it's a 45-minute helicopter ride. Okay. You're telling me the IDF that has troops all around the border of Gaza couldn't react to that festival.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you start thinking it that way, you're like, did they let this happen? And one of their theories on that show was maybe they said, hey, let's have this festival and just have those people, let's just say, collateral damage for Israel, right? For whatever reason, just stay with me on this. It's not my theory, it's just one I heard on PBD. I'm just repeating what I heard. And they didn't realize that they were going to go door to door after, because there's speculation that, what is it, Egypt warned them that something big was coming down the pipeline, and it's almost like they ignored it. Charlie Kirk asked, was there a stand down order? Like, did they say, hey, something's going to happen, let it happen? And maybe they thought, Israel thought, oh, it's just be a couple of festival, young kids, whatever, going to a festival. We'll cry about that, and that'll give us a reason to bomb Gaza, whatever. Maybe they didn't realize that they were going, they were saying on the show, maybe they didn't realize that they were going to go further and go door to door and kill innocent people, innocent families on the border towns. If that's true, because it was like 6 to 9 hours that they didn't do anything, right? So you're talking one of the most advanced defense systems in the world and armies couldn't react to this. Like, I was watching PBD's podcast and going, wow, it kind of blew my mind. You have those moments where, like, I know a little about the situation, but when they tell it like that, you're like, wow, that's right. Like, how did they let this happen? And how did they get back? How did they take prisoners to Gaza? Like, where's the hole in the border, right? How did they get through?
Didn't they plow their way through?
So I saw that they plowed, but that was innocent, civilian type people. One of the videos I saw, it wasn't a military, but it's just crazy to me that happened. And I'm just repeating what I saw on the show. I think PBD's podcast is top notch, and he has people from the left and right. And I think Adam and all those guys do a great job. Adam, Brian, I think it's Brian, do a great job. And it's entertaining, and it's great information.
Well, let me try to think this one through, because of course I'm no expert in this situation, nor do I have an opinion. Standing on order, or maybe they just didn't expect it. Maybe they probably get threats all the time, and there could be a point where they don't take them seriously anymore. Which
is sad. Now you got to take everything serious again. Now, but still, that's 6 to 9 hours. Like, when someone calls 911, hey, we're getting attacked. Like,
it took them 6 to 9 hours to respond.
When a civilian helicopter, can get from Jerusalem to Gaza in 45 minutes, don't you think you would have checked that out? Like, the videos that you saw, you saw them shooting people.
Right.
It's crazy. I saw one video where even the people that escaped in their cars, there was a blockage down the road, and it shows them shooting it because this guy's camera on his dash on his car shows him driving, and it shows him getting shot. It shows the window getting shot, and you're like, did he make it? Did he make it? And you see the car go slow and veer off to the side and then hit another car in front of it. So you know that they're dead, right? And it's just crazy that you have that much hate in this world, that you do that to a bunch of innocent people.
On the whole situation in the Middle East, there's so many factors that goes on of why they keep killing each other. One, land. Second's resources. Third is religion. That plays a huge part.
I think it's the resources, land, and for us,
and most wars are about land and resources, but there's always a masked reason to go in. Like, we need to defend ourselves. We need to do away with their ideologies of communism, and we can save innocent. It's all BS. It's just an excuse to get in there to either get land or resources.
Yeah,
right.
And to basically, I think they're trying to wipe out Gaza so they can have all that land.
Gaza's the size of Washington, D.C. times 2. It's not that big.
It's small. It's just a strip.
Yeah, it's just a sliver. And I could see them that they just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just kick out all those people out there. There's a concentration
displace them.
Well, could be. Just a concentration of Hammas growing. They don't want it to grow anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you got Hezbollah getting into the mix now. That's another...
On the other side of the border.
On the
other side of Jerusalem.
They're in Lebanon, and another very apparently well-trained militia.
I saw that. And we sent 2 different destroyers out there because the conflict's coming. We know conflict's coming. We talked about this earlier. Like, when we were talking about the shutdown. Oh, there's no money. All of a sudden, there's all this money for war.
I know. There's
You
always
brought
money
that up,
for
yeah.
war. There's always money for war. Yet the government was about to get shut down recently. Yet now they're asking for $106 billion for more war.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they're still sending that money to Ukraine. And there's a lot of people, we have to protect Ukraine. Why? They've lost. We're spending way too much money. At one point, you got to think to yourself, all right, dude, it's a loss. It's too much money because in reality, we haven't felt the effects of all this money going out the U.S., right? Taxpayers will. So you're going to see that in all our infrastructures and stuff like that. Like when your kids need, or the roads need to be paved or something like that, sorry, there's no funding, right? Oh, there's too many homeless. Sorry, there's no funding. Oh, the VA, sorry, there's no funding. That's what you're going to hear, but you're going to send a ton of money. You're trying to send a ton of money to Ukraine, and
$106 billion in the U.S. could solve a lot of problems.
Jeez, it solves a ton of problems. And there's no accountability, no receipts. Like, here's $106 billion. How'd you spend it? There's no one to say where to go.
Oh yeah, like how much? Here, let me pull up this website where it has a breakdown of where that money is going into. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Scroll up here. Okay, so $61.4 billion to Ukraine assistance. Isn't that crazy? What about our economic assistance?
There is none.
Then it's $14.3 billion to Israel.
Yeah, go down the list real quick, and I'm going to ask you something after you read
Okay,
the list.
$14 billion for immigration enforcement.
Okay, so would that be the border?
Southern border, I'm going to assume.
And is that our border or their border?
Ooh, good question. That's a good one. $9.15 billion to humanitarian assistance. $4 billion for countering China's influence in developing countries and Indo-Pacific. I think how they order that, I think they really mean Taiwan.
They mean Taiwan.
They mean Taiwan.
Because the resources Taiwan has. Taiwan's a rich country, and they don't want China to have it.
And the remainder $3.4 billion to submarine industrial base, which submarines pack a punch. They're very useful.
Big time, very
stealthy.
useful. It's coming from the bottom, like the ships. It's almost like stealth. They come down, they shoot you. Your ship is sinking.
Well, it's a little strange, but that makes me think. Okay, who in the military-industrial complex benefits from that? Submarines. So someone probably does.
Yeah,
Probably talked in their ear, like, "Hey, add this to this bill."
Yeah, because we need the money for contracts. Let me ask you, what's missing from that list from recent events?
Can I say Hawaii?
Yes. Yes. Hawaii for 1,000. Why is there nothing for Hawaii? Did we already forget about Hawaii? Did we forget about the children that are missing from Hawaii? Are we missing? We never got a final body count. We never found out what families, lost their properties, which they can't. There's no one to claim them. That property, so it goes to the government. Like, it's nothing's going to Hawaii, except for The Rock and Oprah's fund. Did you see The Rock apologize for that?
Did he really?
Oh, you got to see that later. He apologized. He said it could have came off smug that him and Oprah were asking for money. Of course, because you weren't putting up the money yet. You were doing. We're going to put up $2 million, but after they collect it from everyone. Kind of like the thing you told me about.
It's tax evasion too.
Yes, the supermarket thing.
They're going to collect your money, and then they're going to make it appear as if it's their money that they donate, and they get a tax break from it.
Yes.
Just like so an example, if you go to like a homeless shelter or like Goodwill, for example, you donate, they give you like a receipt that you can sign off, use it for your taxes. But if you go to like a grocery store and they're like, "Would you like to donate $1?" And you're like, "Oh, sure." You don't get a receipt back to claim it on your taxes, because they gather all those monies and then they file it for to get a tax break, because they make it look like it's their money, not the person who contributed
that dollar.
So they get a tax break from it. So it's a tax evasion loophole. And so what Oprah and The Rock is doing is the same thing. They're getting your monies, and they're going to make it look like it was their foundation, so they get a tax break from it.
And their foundation gets tax break.
And their foundation is just another money laundering.
Nice try, Oprah. Nice try. And The Rock was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it too," and then didn't realize that people would catch on to that. And figure that out.
once you get a certain point where you're so rich, you're trying to figure out ways to pay less taxes.
Correct.
So like a foundation or a charity is a good one, right? So
Oh yeah.
this way you can say, oh yeah, I made this much money, but look at my foundation, it's contributed so much, and then, oh, okay, you've done so much for the community, here's a tax break. It's all BS.
Correct.
It's all BS. Because if you look up charities, like 1 to 3% actually goes to the cause.
Which is crazy to me.
Most of it goes to like marketing and admission fees. I mean, the CEO requires a $300,000 a year paycheck.
And a car allowance and a housing allowance and all this stuff. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. So it's just a way to sucker people. It's just a scam. It's a
makes
scam.
you,
Let's call it what it is. It's a scam.
It makes you think you're doing good. It makes you think like, hey, you feel good. Hey, I donated my change. So something in our grocery store. Hey, would you like to round up? No. No. Why would I round up? You're gonna take the credit for it.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna do the work, and you're gonna take the credit.
You're not getting a receipt back to claim on your
Correct.
taxes. Don't do it. Do not do it.
Correct. So that's 61.4 billion going. I want to. We already have kind of determined what we want to talk about on this, but there's something that came up, and I want to ask you. Tip culture in America. Like I recently went to a restaurant where, it was just like a steakhouse vibe. They have outdoor seating. I don't want to say the name of it, but you get in line, you go up, you pay for your food, and then they give you this thing, and you come back up and you get your food, right? The lady's like, "Here you go," and there's there's the tip line, and I'm looking at it going, "This place is expensive. I'm getting my own food. I'm going to sit at a picnic table, and I'm going to throw away my own food, right? Self-serve drinks, soft drinks. Do you tip?"
Or something like that? No. Well,
It's kind of like going to like a pizza place and picking up your carryout, and they expect a tip.
oh,
It's like
yeah.
tip culture is like, why would I pay you when I'm...
It's getting out of control here.
It's getting out of control. Long story short, I ended up tipping 15%.
Just so you don't feel bad. People tip
yeah.
because they don't want to feel like a
I
jerk.
didn't want to feel like a jerk, but I was like, "Arr." But it is what it is. It's a nice place. I will bring it up down the road. I want to introduce it to the family. I think it's a really cool place. I don't want to say the name of the place because I just said I only tipped 15%, but you didn't do anything.
Well, I think we need to get rid of tip culture 100% across the board.
Even
I think
waiters and bartenders? Okay.
because for waiters and bartenders, if they provide bad service, they can expect like
10%.
little to no tip, right?
Yeah.
If they provide good service, there's still a chance they will get crappy tips. Yeah, they get
I've
good
gotten
tips,
crappy
but-
tips when I did great service.
right? And it's just unfair.
And it's weird because you don't know what the tip culture is in other places, right?
And it's inconsistent income, so it makes it hard to, try to
Yeah.
get a loan or something.
Oh yeah, you can't. You try to do loans, it's very hard. It's doable, but it's like we know you make more. It's just you don't claim enough. Just like self-employed people, right? They write off so much stuff, so their adjusted gross looks horrible, but they really have a ton of money. They can't afford. It's like, dude, you're gonna have to buy this house in cash or whatever.
I also understand to run a restaurant, you're running on small margins.
Ton, yeah,
So, and we discussed this, labor's expensive.
yes,
So they try to find ways to cut away from having the labor of like servers and whatnot and just have it automated, or people just pick up their food and self-checkout and stuff like that, sit at your own desk and they still expect a tip somehow. Like
well, during COVID, I mean, DoorDash and those places did a killing.
They did.
People that were stuck in their homes, like,
but they feed the crap out of you though.
I can't drive anywhere, so I might as well call in a pizza or I want Taco Bell. Like places that you normally don't have carryout, now you can get carryout.
But why is it on the customer that has to tip the driver when it should be like the restaurant or someone who should be paying the
I
driver?
know. See, I've seen so many videos on that lately. Like,
I just don't get that though, because you're already paying a fee for the delivery service fee, like pizza, right? You order pizza online and you get it. They charge a delivery fee.
you charge your delivery fee, and then you have to tip. Like,
and then you
dude,
got to tip. Like, why is this my responsibility?
you're right. Why is there a delivery fee? If this guy is, that's a great
He's not
question.
my employee. He's your employee.
And you're charging the fee. Does the fee go to him?
So
Why is there a fee? Why is there a fee? Now my mind is just
So think about all delivery jobs that isn't food based. Should they all be getting a tip somehow? Like my Amazon driver, should I tip him?
no. Don't start that.
right?
Because then we're gonna start tipping Amazon drivers.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. It's like, should I be tipping the postman?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like it's just getting insane. It's like, why they keep putting the cost on the customer? It's like, okay, like this is ridiculous. Why am I in charge of this person's finances right now?
Have you gone to a store or restaurant yet where they are starting to add a fee if you use a credit card?
There's some, especially if you're like, if it's a fee that if your total amount is like less than $5 or so.
Yeah, if it's a small place like a mom and pop's place, I'll gladly do it. I'll gladly pay it. But I can't remember where it was. We went to like a big box store or something, a big box restaurant, and there was a fee for using credit card, and it was a percentage. I can't remember the percent, but I'm like, holy cow! So if your bill's big, you're gonna pay X percent when you know that's not how much they're getting charged. Like that's crazy, you know. And we went to a restaurant once, and then we saw this on the breakdown. They didn't bring out the receipt. I was like, hey, I need a breakdown of the receipt, you know, before I pay for this. And they brought it out under one of the taxes was like healthcare for their employees or something. And it is a small percentage, but still, it's like, shouldn't your employer be paying for this?
Yeah, why am I liable for your health insurance costs?
Yeah,
like,
what is this? It was a trip. Like I can't remember the restaurant, and I don't think I would say it on this podcast. But I mean, don't want to throw them under the bus because it's a restaurant we go to. But it's just like crazy to see that, and it wasn't like earth changing or whatever. But it's still like, okay, this is just another fee. And the reason I bring it up is because we're talking about fees and all this little things we're getting taxed on, right? It's just like going to Vegas. You see one price for a hotel, and then you find out the small print. You're like, how did this double in price? Resort fees, something fee, this fee, and you're like, holy cow, that's crazy.
Yeah, now like websites when you book, if they include the resort fees and whatnot. Because before it was like, okay, you just paid it online, cool, your room's reserved, and then when you go up there, they have to hold your credit card for the resort fees. I'm like, I'm not using your amenities. Why do I have to pay for this?
And then parking fee.
The parking fee comes out of nowhere, right? They don't mention that. It's like,
$30 a night. It's just sitting there. Like, I don't know.
They try to nickel and dime you wherever you can. Like,
they do everywhere.
So, yeah, the tipping culture, the fee. You know, that is one thing I agree with Biden about the junk fees, because he had a speech about junk fees and how they take us for suckers. I'm like, you know what? I don't agree with you in like many things, but that one I kind of do. However, it's not the government's business to be regulating that junk fees.
Well, like which junk fees is he talking about?
What we were just talking about.
No, it's not.
The resort fees.
No, it's the resorts, because it's at the end of the day, it's the
primarily
consumer.
them. Right.
But it's the consumer that can say, you know what, we're not going there anymore.
Yeah, it should be the consumer saying, you know, I'm not. But again, it's just they're still gonna have a steady flow of tourists coming in and
plenty of tourists,
getting ripped off.
Like the Arias of the world, the Cosmos of the world, the Winds of the world. They have great amenities and it's a great clean place, and you're paying for it. People are gonna go.
I mean, whatever they could get that headline room reservation at the cheapest cost, like, oh my god, it's $199 a night, sign me up. And then before you get up there, there's like all these fees, and it turns out to be like $499.
$429.
Like, what is this?
What the hell just happened?
So you just got ripped off. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not gonna have a good time in Vegas anymore.
Yeah. There goes my dinner night fee, whatever. And
now people wonder why people are going to like Airbnbs or whatnot.
And that's another one. They're cracking down on Airbnbs.
They are, and I wonder who it is. Who's behind it, really?
It's
probably the hotels.
It's the hotels, dude. It's the hotels. Just like Uber, just like New York City was, the taxi drivers were all up in arms for Uber and Lyft out there.
Well, the New York one is a little understandable because you have to get a medallion.
And that could cost a ton of money.
Those medallions cost a lot of money.
$1 million, up to $1 million.
Yeah, and then Uber came out and anyone could be in. Like, my medallion's worthless.
Exactly. Because you could sell your medallion to someone. You know, you're like, okay, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna sell this medallion. You can get $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I was watching a video about that a while back ago. How this guy bought his medallion for $1 million, and now that Uber and Lyft are in New York, it's worthless. He's not getting rides. He can't charge. You know, it's like, why do I have this? You know, like. It's worthless now. I can't even resell it. He was saying, you know, it's just like, okay.
Let's go back to the Airbnb and VRBOs, right?
Verbos.
Is it called Verbo?
Yeah, the commercial says Verbo.
Okay, but I think they're clamping down hard. I remember they clamped down hard in Hawaii. I understand half of it. Like, you don't want your neighborhood to be turned into a place
Oh,
where a
100%.
bunch of traffic comes in of tourists being reckless, not caring, partying, and it's supposed to be a quiet neighborhood. So I get that.
Oh, 100%. Same thing for
Mm.
us. There's a Airbnb behind our house.
So if I was a hotel lobbyist, I would totally throw that pitch.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And they can go to these HOAs and communities and get enough signatures and enough people on their videos or whatever saying, I hate, this house next door. There's always people. And it's, you're on vacation. You're going to have loud music. You're going to be obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens because you're like, I'm not going to probably be back here ever.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't care what these neighbors say.
Yeah,
Right.
so a whole bunch of I
So
don't care.
then you get a bunch of neighbors that are mad,
Mm-hmm.
So I did see that they're going to start, the next crash is because of Airbnb. I saw this video yesterday or the day before.
That's a lot.
Well, if they clamp down on the Airbnbs because enough people can't rent out their homes and get the profits that they were looking for. If that makes sense.
Is this supposed to be the tip of the housing crash?
It's
for
supposed to be
Airbnb?
one of the big factors. There's so many
'Cause
Airbnbs.
there is a lot
If
of
you go on an
Airbnbs.
Airbnb site, you're gonna be surprised how many there are out there. And if that city says, say a mayor or governor goes in there and says, "All right, Chandler cannot have any more Airbnbs,"
Mm-hmm.
all those people are screwed. They're gonna have to turn around and
Not just that, but like even if you're allowed to have an Airbnb at certain locations, they charge the crap out of you now.
they're expensive now.
Now they're expensive,
They were
like-
cool when they first came out, but now there's a clean fee, this and that fee. And if you go on Airbnb, it's like I'd rather go to a hotel because the Airbnb there's a list of things you have to do before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure the sheets look good. Take the sheets out, put them in. Here's all this, like a list of stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a cleaning fee already on here.
Mm-hmm.
Clean it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are out of control. I saw some, what is it, Facebook Reels or Stories or whatever about some nightmare Airbnbs and like the long list of things they want you to do before you leave.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
don't get me wrong. I still like Airbnbs because I've been to like some bed and breakfasts.
Yeah,
Those are great.
Yeah.
It's just very out in the middle. I wouldn't say in the middle of nowhere, but
it's like a horror movie.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah,
It's not like in the city with like a neighborhood
Yeah.
type of thing. I think that's a big problem. It's like I don't want Airbnbs in my neighborhood.
yeah.
I don't want all these new cars every day just in and out.
Especially on the weekends, take over your little town and stuff. That's no.
So I get it, but hotel, you got like this stinky little room.
Yeah, but
And you're paying like $300 a night.
unless
Like,
you go to
that's
a
it for
resort,
shelter?
unless you're going to a resort that has amenities and cool stuff to do. A lot of times you go to a city and you're getting a hotel because you just need a place for shelter to sleep.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the day you're out doing stuff, hanging out with family, hiking, whatever, right? But there's some cool resorts like we do staycations. There's a lot of them here in Arizona. I like to go to like at least Tucson or Flagstaff. I like to get out, like drive. I don't want to go. Oh, let's go to North Scottsdale. Like why? Like doesn't feel like a vacation. Like when we go to Tucson, there's a resort down there. It's pretty cool. And then at night we'll go to like let's hit up a restaurant we never heard of, and check it out. And, it's kind of cool to do that.
Airbnb is still useful internationally.
Oh yeah, I
Like
bet.
I used it for Bali, right?
Yeah,
I mean that's how you find a lot of these good places. But in the U.S., it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
So I get it. I don't know. It's just Can you expand more about how it can cause a crash? Because I figured it's only just one company. How can one?
no,
company
it's not a
run
company.
everything?
It's more than that. It's all the Airbnbs, the Verbos, in the U.S. Right?
Mhm.
If let's say the government, and I'm not saying statewide, I'm saying government wide, they start pushing on this, saying no more VRBOs, right?
Right.
There's too many out in the market as it is. It's saturated. It's a saturated market right now,
Mhm.
and they clamp down. You can't do VRBOs. You have to turn those into long-term rentals. A lot of people, and I have friends, they can't do long-term rentals because they won't even break even unless they want to lose a little bit of money.
Mhm.
If you take right now with the way rates are and stuff, if you try to get a rental, you need it like 35% just to break even or close to break even and be a little bit negative, thinking, oh, it's going to be, equities down the road, whatever. Right now, with the VRBO situation, people are doing higher rates because they know they're getting X amount, especially on the weekends, right? You're getting $400, in North Scottsdale, $500 in a beat up house because it's in demand, right? But if they start clamping down and you have to do a long-term rental, you're like, screw it, I don't want to deal with this. I'll just sell it and get the little bit of equity I'll be able to get and do something else, put in something else. But I saw a video on that. We'll talk about it later. I need you to watch it so you can wrap your mind around like, wow, because they were talking about this could cause the next crash
Okay. Yeah, I just want to entertain it a little bit.
if they clamp down on it.
Well, have me watch the video and talk about it next time.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, let me throw in one more thing about that. Well, I mean, Airbnb can make you a lot of money. Like, say you bought a house, the sole purpose is to put it out for Airbnb. Let's just say it's like $2,500 a month with the mortgage you have on it. So, in order to get someone to pay that kind of rent, maybe $3,000, that's pretty hard to get. People want rent about in the low 2,000s for the most part.
Oh yeah.
So, but Airbnb, you can totally do it for $400, $500 a night.
100%.
So that's not a problem.
Not a problem. That's why it makes so much more money. But then everyone caught on to it and everyone's trying to do it.
Right.
And then it's saturated. Now you got to find the next big
Now
thing.
it's a saturated market, so you're not getting as many people coming in.
Right.
Plus the laws coming in and telling you knock it off, and then sure you have to sell it.
Oh, and now they're doing. I saw a commercial. Is it Airbnb? Yeah, I think it was Airbnb. Talking about, oh, your son's going to college. Now you have an empty room. No, it's an Airbnb that you can Airbnb just rooms now in your house. I'm like, hell no, I wouldn't do
They've
that.
always had that. Like couch, you get Airbnb your couch.
You get Airbnb your couch?
Yeah, so just have someone sleep on your couch.
I wouldn't want a stranger in my house.
I know, but
That's so weird, right?
People are willing to do it if they need the money bad
Dude,
enough.
if you're a
Like
serial
$15
killer,
a night.
dude, that's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, I mean, Airbnb your couch, and you fall asleep.
Well, I mean, they put their information in and whatnot, so if something does happen.
Yeah, it's too scary. Anyway.
Well, sure, yeah, I wouldn't do it, but there's people out there who are willing to do it.
Psychos. Anyways, let's talk about this one. This one's big. I think it's big. I don't know what you think. Republicans running speaker. They can't find a speaker.
No.
Have you heard the rumor
Yes.
that Donald Trump was going to be Speaker of the House? I don't know how that works.
Of course, he has to be a representative.
Yeah. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. He can be Speaker of the House.
How you have to be a member of Congress.
He was the president. There's a loophole.
So if you're once a president,
Yep.
you can become a Speaker of the House.
Yes.
I don't know what this is. I have to research this. I always thought that like it's whoever is in the majority of the House, right, which is right now the Republicans, they select their majority leader.
And they can't find one.
And they can't get one, but there's a lot of candidates out there. And I don't know why they keep tearing each other apart. They can't find one.
They're destroying Jim Jordan right now, and I kind of don't know why. They're saying that he's like.
Well, you can't be right enough. You can't be there's so many Republicans who are kind of like middle right, and there's some Republicans like you have to go like way far right.
Yeah.
And they're just torn on that. It's like a division in the Republican Party. I mean, you can say the same thing with Democrats, but
Democrats are divided right now because of Israel and Palestine.
Well, for that, yes.
Yeah.
And go figure, they're more pro-war than Republicans right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting.
But it's a weird situation in the U.S. Is the world going to an end in the U.S.? No, it's just they can't find a speaker. And it's fascinating how...
They can't vote for the speaker, correct.
It was fascinating how we're going so long without a speaker right now.
Which is crazy. They should have had one by now.
Like, who can take our politicians seriously at this point?
None.
I mean, as if it wasn't bad enough as it is, but it's just very, I don't know. I mean, is the right word immature? Like, not professional? Like, who votes these people in? They can't even... We vote them in because we figured they're the smartest one, best ones who can do the job, and they're all screw-ups.
They're not. It's just like attorneys, doctors. You think they're... because they have the PhD or whatever.
But, I mean, they're also doing this. Like, not voting in the right speaker because they're not benefiting from it. Like, hey, man, I want my say in how I make my money. It's not happening unless you're going to help me out make more money.
Yep.
Just like how the Democrats did with, like, Kristen Sinema, because she's, like, such a huge in bed with pharmaceuticals, so they had to cut her a little deal so they'd get her vote. Politics is so dirty.
It is dirty because they have all that bribery, and I forgot what word they use for bribery. Make it sound legal. I'm like, dude, that's bribery.
I know, and this is why I can never be like, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. They're all full of crap, man.
Well, it's like being in a cult. I hate to say it like that. If you're like, oh, I'm Republican. Okay, do you agree with all the? Yeah, if it's Republican, I'll vote for it. Okay, but you didn't read the bill. Like, do you even know what you're voting for? No, but the Republicans say to vote for this, so I'm going to vote for this. Like, no, dude.
Don't you get
freedom choice?
Don't you get money from the government for your disabilities, and the Republicans are trying to cut it, and you're still voting for them?
Yeah, like honestly, people are they're not. A lot of people are, what's the word? People use sheep, mindless zombies. Like, dude, do your own research. That's why I vote either way.
I mean, do your own research, but what is the research though?
Yeah.
Because I want to know what they're looking at and then figure out.
Oh, what's the source of that research? Yeah.
What's the source of that research? Because do your own research. It could
CNN
be any
or Fox?
jackass blog out there, right? Any jackass YouTube video with no sources behind it, nothing backing it, but people are gullible enough to believe it.
Two brothers doing a podcast, you're going to believe everything we say. No, don't believe anything we say.
No.
We do your own research.
We're also a bunch of morons ourselves.
Pretty much. That's why we have a podcast.
No, man. We're talking about housing recently.
Oh, before we jump on that, let's jump on, because we're talking about politics, just jump on RFK.
Okay.
The only reason I bring this up, you know what, I'm going to say it, even though I don't like to talk about politics. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of RFK's. I want to see him do good, you know?
What was the one thing that won you over with RFK Jr.?
He's younger than Biden.
That's it?
You know what, I'm going to use the Democratic point of view. You know how they went anyone but Trump? I'm going to go anyone but Biden, you know, and go with, you know, Mr. RFK. I think the Kennedys, you know, I feel like they're still royalty, right? It's a shame that his brothers and sisters all turned on him and said that they don't represent our dad, this and that. Dude, that's your brother. You defend him. Like, he's trying to do best for the country. He's not trying to do best for what you want. You know, he's doing what he believes is right. I 100% agree with him. I kind of like that he's going on his own. He's not going to get the Democratic vote. He's not going to get Democrats to help him out.
They won't even let him debate.
They won't let him debate because he'll destroy Biden. Mm-hmm. They know it. That's why they won't. Whose votes does he take, though?
That's a really good question.
That's the main concern I would have.
The last time if we had three candidates debate each other, it wasn't since Ross Perot with Bill Clinton and Bush Sr.
Yeah. So, and he did pretty good as far as the debates.
And Ross Perot did great. And if you still watch the old videos of how he bought airtime to explain the whole situation with the government and how our taxes are being used, it opened up a lot of people's eyes. But, there's really two votes out there. People say there's an independent one. Not really. There's people who are loosely Democrat and loosely Republican. So it's just like, who is the independent taken away from the most? And because the independent's not going to win, it's just a matter of like who, Republican or Democrat, are they dragging down. With the Ross Perot situation, he dragged down the Republican Party. He took most of their votes versus the Democratic votes. Therefore, Bill Clinton won. Yep. Now, if this could be the same situation of what votes is RFK going to take from? It could be, I think it's more Republican than Democrat. What do you think?
I can see an argument for both sides. That some loosely Democrats are just tired of the economy, how bad it is, and they don't want Biden's too old. He's not going out there talking to reporters like Trump did. You know what? I'm going to go for a fresh meat. Let's go for Kennedy. I can also see Republicans there's a lot of Republicans that don't like Trump, right? So if Trump is the nomination, they're going to be like, oh, I'm not voting for this guy again. And I don't want to vote Democrat. So, I'll meet in the middle. I'll go for Kennedy. So I could see that argument of Republicans. I also see it for Democrats, though. I can 100% see it. Would I vote for Kennedy? Yeah, probably. I don't know, because I think the chaos that we have right now is just too chaotic,
Yeah, he's not a very status quo person. At least he doesn't come off that way.
He doesn't come off that way, but then we've been fooled before.
Mm-hmm.
Presidents saying they're going to do something, they don't.
Right. So, I think he's going to get a lot of Republican votes just because of his stance on vaccines.
Yeah.
So I think I think Trump is probably going to be the Republican.
Oh, Trump, 100%. 100% it's going to be Trump.
Mm-hmm. If they don't have anything with the 14th Amendment, which I haven't heard about anything about
Yeah.
that in a while. So I think it'll probably be Trump.
I don't
But
think he wins though.
well,
I have a scenario where Biden wins again.
I think. Well, here's the reason why I think if RFK Jr. is the independent, he will take more votes away from Republicans versus
Yeah,
Democrats
that's
because of
that's
that
your
reason.
that's your story.
And then if that keeps going, then why would Democrats in the future just prop up a shell independent nominee? So just the sole purpose to take votes away from Republicans while they still hold a stash of
I
strong
felt
Democrat votes.
that could have happened with Vivek.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, what if Vivek's a spy, going on all these Republican things, and then he's going to announce, I'm going independent.
I mean, it could happen, sure.
I don't think he'll take much. I think RFK would take a lot more than Vivek.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Didn't Trump say that if he didn't get the Republican nomination, he'd go independent?
I don't know, maybe.
This is before he was president, right?
Like, if you can't get the nomination of one party, what makes you think you're going to do better going independent?
You won't go independent. You're just taking votes away from one or
and
the
you're
other.
propping up the other party.
Correct. And at that point, do you care? You're like, okay, Republicans don't want to back me. You guys are going to lose then.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Or make me Speaker of the House. But
I mean, Trump would raise a lot of money.
Trump will raise a lot of money.
What you're talking about, his scenario of being House Speaker.
I don't know, why he'd want to do that unless he does not become president.
I mean, it's a good.
If he's blocked, if the Democrats find a way to block him from being president, in the next week or so, why wouldn't he? Why would he not?
Oh, you mean
be
House Speaker?
Yeah. Why would he not be House Speaker?
I mean, House Speaker is still a very powerful position.
Very powerful job. Very powerful position.
You're the number 3 guy, basically.
He'll still be able to do some shit, right? Pardon my French, but he can still do some damage. He can still go after. The problem with Trump, it's not really a problem. He's gonna come after everyone that did him wrong if he wins.
Oh yeah, even Republicans.
Get your popcorn ready because it will be a bloodbath. It'll be like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. He's coming after Pelosi. He's coming after the Democrats. He's coming after the Republicans that did not have his back. He's gonna make life hard for them. It's gonna be pretty crazy. That scenario would be kind of cool to see because it'd be like the world feared Trump. How crazy is it that everyone said if Trump becomes president, we're going to be in World War III, this and that. And he used that as don't vote for him because we'll go to World War III. Okay, but we're going to World War III right now with Biden. It's happening.
There's 2 wars that broke out under Biden.
2 wars that broke out under Biden. Plus, we're going against Iran soon. We have 2 destroyers in there. Everyone knows the thing with the border on Lebanon is going to go off. Hammas and Hezbollah, they're coming after Jerusalem. We have to protect them. UK's going to get involved. Germany's going to get involved. Russia's going to get involved. China's going after Taiwan at the same time because there's going to be 2 wars. And we're like, this is perfect time to strike.
Everyone's feeling the effects of the Ukraine and Russia war. Now they're like the Israel one now too. We're running so thin on resources now.
We're going to be in a bigger one. It's going to really put our markets into.
And it was not as if inflation's bad enough. This is going to make things worse.
It's going to make way things worse, man.
Are they just going to turn on the money printer again?
Oh, it's a guarantee. It's going on in 2024. They're going to start. They're turning on the money printer.
No, but it's not going to be quantitative easing. It's going to be just straight for war. This money's only good for war.
Yeah, and the war machine is going to be because they have to. They can't lose. What if the U.S. ever lost? How crazy would that be?
Lost what?
The war.
A war that they declare? They haven't declared a war since World War II.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
In Vietnam, Korea, those are wars that we lost.
That was a conflict.
Those conflicts we lost.
It was a conflict that the U.S.
should have never been in.
Put themselves in of a country that was at civil war. Yeah. And of course, it was another proxy / I think China was involved in that war. Or was it the Korean one? I don't know. Shoot, someone's gonna.
Well, the Vietnam War is crazy because the whole thing was you lost to a bunch of guerrilla warfare. Is what destroyed. You've never been in that kind of jungle situation.
I've heard many conspiracies that war was never meant to be won. It's meant to be dragged on to get the resources that the CIA was pulling out of there.
Yeah, CIA is crazy,
right?
All the CIA stuff that I read and stuff, it's insane. It's insane.
I think it's crazier and crazier when you dive deep into the CIA.
Yeah,
So I try not to get involved because I feel like they'll just hear this podcast and then
Well, if
they make us disappear.
well, if they did, just reply to my application. I did apply a couple times to CIA, so hopefully you guys see that. I wouldn't mind working there. CIA agent, wear a suit, Agent Jimenez, boom.
Yeah, but I mean, just like anything else, there's not only do you need the clearance, but I need to know.
Yeah.
And they have so many subdivisions in CIA.
So
You
many
won't know
subdivisions.
everything that goes on. You're only going to know what you have to know.
There was a drug bust. I can't remember where it was. I think it was like Baltimore, Maryland, where it's undercover cops that were selling drugs, and it was undercover a different agency attacking, or a different agency coming to buy the drugs, which was crazy. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty insane. So as far as like CIA, I don't think they can be in the U.S. or operate in the U.S. for what I know. So it's pretty crazy. But RFK, yeah, you're right. It's gonna steal some votes. But let's go to your topic because I know you love this topic.
Oh, let me just pull it up on the screen.
It went down a little bit. Look at that.
It
was over 8. Now it's under.
It's just gonna shoot back up again.
I know.
But we did cross the line of 8%.
Oh, we did cross it. Yeah, it was all over the news. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's only gonna get worse. I mean, we're still expecting another interest hike rate anyway.
It's gonna happen. They said. And you know what's crazy? I saw a chart the other day. This was the fastest spike in rates ever.
Right, because we had the fastest spike in quantitative easing and pumping money into our economy ever. So we have to.
Thank you, COVID.
Yeah, we have to pull that money back. Otherwise, the dollar is going to mean nothing again.
Yeah.
Or not again, but it's. I mean.
We go to war for the dollar, so the dollar's always going to be.
We need to keep that dollar as the
currency, the world
currency right now. You can't let China or anything like that be the world currency. But it's just so strange. Like, okay, we're currently in a stagflation with housing, right? High interest rates and high prices.
Gosh, I know. It's so crazy.
And any realtor will tell you now's a good time to buy. But digress.
They have to because they have to. But yeah, they have to.
Like, what do you do in this situation?
Oh, it's 8% now. Oh, just shot up to 8% live on the show.
Let me pull it up on the screen.
Well, 8% today.
It's back at 8%.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
Oh, it went back down.
It went back down. Okay, so it's going to teeter-tot over that. I just found out last night you can't call a master bedroom anymore. The word master offends people.
Yeah. When I was looking for houses, they were trying to... They're using the word primary bedroom. I was like, oh, okay. And all the rest are secondaries?
Yeah. But it makes sense, I guess. I don't know. I'm not offended. But
I mean, the word master is like, master slave.
So, are they going to change Masters of the Universe? No more He-Man?
I mean...
Servants of the Universe?
Yeah, I guess people don't want to be seen as a servant. We're all servants to this.
Yeah.
We all work for a master in this world, whether you like it or not.
Correct. Correct.
There is a master out there, and it's not you if you're watching this podcast.
Yeah.
The masters are...
We're all puppets to this world.
Masters are involved in the military-industrial complex right now, creating wars to make more money.
It is a horrible time in housing right now. It is a horrible time. We got to bring Mike back on, the owner of CEO of Swift Mortgage, where I actually hold my license for mortgage. He'll tell you the same thing. It's just crazy, but there's people buying right now. I saw a house in Santan right by your house. It's 8% again. Yay. $395 for a 5-bedroom house in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, I want to buy it.
Yeah, it's those 2-story houses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's one street from the Fries. There's I forgot what restaurants are right by there. There's a Barrel's Pizza right by there. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at $395. What can I get on a rental on that? Like if I bought it for a rental, like
they're around $2,000 last I checked in that neighborhood.
Off these rates, no.
It's a low.
Because that rate 8%, my buddy. Okay, I have my buddy Matt. He did a loan recently. I talked to him Friday. How bad is the market? I asked him. He had a customer 740 credit, A+ bar, 20% down on a primary home, 8.25% with 1 point. Wow, he had to pay a point to get that. Mm-hmm. The market's so bad that there is no par pricing. You have to pay points.
I thought some of these people, like the sellers, or at least not the sellers, the developers, are buying down the rates.
They are.
They're just trying to
A lot of them
find some incentive to sell this damn
you
thing.
can get a new build at 6%.
Not terrible.
That's not
You know,
horrible. It's
that's
better
not
than what's
8%.
at right now.
People are begging for 6% to come back.
You could still do 2-1 buy downs right now. Like where you get into your home, instead of 8%, the first year 6%, the second year 7%, and the last year's 8%. And then goes up from that. They're hoping that the rates will drop in the next year or two.
Oh, we've seen that type of hope before.
Yeah,
In like
and it didn't come.
2008, yeah.
And it didn't come. So you got to be careful. There's going to be people that are going to tell you it's going to drop in a year or two, so go ahead and get in it, and we'll refinance your house.
What makes you so certain?
Yeah. Oh, and just real quick, I just want to throw out there, if you buy a house from someone or you refinance a house from someone, and people get called all the time, hey, you know, rates are low, I can get you this. If that's a fact, go back to the original lender that you did business with, especially if he's a broker, because if you refinance or do anything within 6 months of your house, that commission that your broker got, he has to pay it back.
Really?
It sucks. I've had that happen a couple of times. It's like, oh, I didn't make any money this month. Oh, shoot, I'm negative $3,000. Like, how did this happen? They explained it like, oh yeah, someone else. Did you know that your borrower, someone refinanced them 4 months in? You're like, what? It's a punch in the gut, but hey, if a company's offering you that, go back to your broker. He's not going to make money on your refinance, but he's going to keep you, and he'll beat that. And if he can't beat it, it's because his company can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go somewhere else, you know. But if you go through a broker, which they could get the lowest rates, and someone's trying to steal your business, just go back to that broker. Give him a shot so he doesn't get penalized. He won't make money off of it, but he won't be penalized.
I've heard when I was shopping for houses, at least get 3 different, pre-quals to see what rates you can get.
3 quotes from different places.
Mm-hmm.
Because
minimum, go for more and see who do the best. But some of them try to do weasel stuff like, yeah, you get the lowest percentage, but then like your closing costs are like way higher.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that too. They'll find a way to nickel and dime you, but also there's a lot of fear tactics. Here you go, but don't let another company look at your credit because your credit score could go down, and then we won't be able to give you this. They're just fear mongering you because you have like 60 to 90 days, and you could have 100 people look at your.
Yeah, it's just that one time you have 90 days.
Yep.
Yeah, your credit might take a little hit, but it'll recover.
It already took it on the first tick.
And then it has 90 days. Yeah. As many people can look at it.
Yep. As long as it's in the same as long as it's a bank or financial institution. Now, if you're looking at cars and appliances and other stuff, yeah, your credit's going to go down.
And they'll tell you don't do that.
They'll tell you don't do that because it's a different market, right? It's a different industry. It's looking at your credit. And don't ever buy furniture and stuff until you close on the house. Mm-hmm. When you get the house keys, then start buying stuff. Don't go out there and buy big screen TVs, this and that. Even though I did see an 86-inch screen TV at Sam's Club. First time I've ever been to Sam's Club in my life. 86-inch LG TV for $9.99. Mm-hmm. It was yellow ticketed, meaning like it was on sale or something, or special, whatever. A lot different than Costco. I love Costco way more than Sam's Club. Mm-hmm. Different vibe. But the food court at Sam's Club, oh my God, it's like $1 cheaper. You're like,
is it really?
Well, I like, truth be told, strawberry sundae at Costco for $2.50 is delicious. Mm-hmm. They have the same one at Sam's Club for $1.50.
Oh, nice.
The hot dogs soda at Costco is $1.50 plus tax. At Sam's Club, it's $1.32 or something. So it becomes $1.50, whatever. But their hot dogs are different.
Strong competition with Costco, and they're trying to get more of their customers.
Their hot dogs are a little different at Sam's Club. The pizza, they have a $2.50 a slice at Costco. It's $2.50 for a slice and a drink at Sam's Club. You go to Costco, it's only going to be pizza. It's going to be cheese or pepperoni. Those are your 2 choices. That's it. You go to Sam's Club, you get a veggie, you get a meat, a pepperoni, or cheese. So you have four things you can pick. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to give Costco the edge on the pizza, kind of, but Sam's Club's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. Did you have it? Did you have that last night? The Sam's Club pizza?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Just like any other pizza.
It's all right. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't
terrible, but I wasn't blown away by it.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away. What's the best pizza you've had?
I have to get back in on you on that.
Spinato's is good.
I guess a good oven brick
Yeah.
pizza.
Why can I not think
Where
of that?
like you could tell the ingredients are fresh. But
I heard something in the air.
Aldi's or something like that. What's it called?
I forgot. I haven't had that pizza in a while, so it's like I totally forgot what it was. Dang it.
But clearly not the big chain restaurants. Like,
No, I hate
not the
Domino's, Pizza Huts,
Domino's.
Papa John's, the Little Caesars.
Hungry
Not a Hungry Howie's sucks. But Little Caesars has that thin crust pizza. It's actually really good. The rest of their stuff sucks, except their crazy bread. Something about their crazy bread is like addicting. I think they sprinkle cocaine on it or something. It's delicious.
I think they had sugar in it.
Is that what it is? It's delicious. It's delicious. But
even their pizzas keep. Remember $5 Hot and Ready's? It's no longer that anymore. But
no, with inflation, no.
Now with inflation, there's no way they keep up with it. But the thing with the Little Caesars Hot and Ready is that they're never ready.
They're never.
Never. I used to walk in there like. Because you do, I think the app or the website, you just like order your pizza and walk in. There's a little digital pad where you take out your pizza. Every time I go there, someone goes there, do you have any Hot and Ready's ready? Like, no. Some punk 16-year-old kid kind of saying like, nope, no, we don't.
Nope.
Like, of course I'm going to be pissed. The customer leaves there all mad.
It's supposed to be ready to go. Like, I can't wait for a pizza and get something up there.
I was here because it's called Hot and Ready. But it's never, I don't know. I haven't seen a Hot and Ready available right when you walk in a while.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, it's gonna be about a 10-minute wait. I'm like, mother effer, I'm the only one here.
Yep. What's next on
the? Let's see. So I guess we could finish off with.
Let's go with sports. Hey, did you know the Las Vegas women's basketball team won? The Aces. They won the championship.
Las Vegas has a basketball team. Oh, women's. I didn't know that.
Either did America. But anyways, but I made a conscious effort. Remember we talked about this, that I was going to start, rooting for NWA? No, WNBA.
Well, it's the Mercury, and they weren't good this season.
They were horrible. But, Diana Taurasi is just awesome, I think.
Well, past her prime. I mean, she's in her 40s. Or
yeah, but she's not in her 40s, is she?
Yeah.
She's probably 39. She's in her 40s? Wow. And she's still playing? Good for her. But, yeah, they won, and, not a lot of people cared. I didn't see anything on the news about it, which, again, I just turned it on, and I was like, oh, Las Vegas Aces beat the New York Liberty. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what sport are we talking about? And it's like, oh, yeah, the basketball, But it's just hard for them to get a lot of fans. It is what it is, right? We already talked about this.
Yeah.
But they're going to do expansion. I did see Golden State or San Francisco going to get a team. And I don't know if it's part of the Golden State Warriors because they have to have like an NBA team to help them. I think they're going to help them out on that. But again, let's move on to what's really
all kidding aside, congratulations to Las Vegas Aces.
Yep. Should have been Mercury. Anyways, Diamondbacks lost last night. We're in Diamondbacks hat because I'm rooting for them. They're down 3-2. It's okay. Cinderella season almost. No real big stars. They've gotten this far. They're like 2 games away from the World Series, which is amazing. Amazing. Phillies are just too much for them, but it's not over yet. They could still get in there. Diamondbacks are the fastest team to win a World Series from expansion. That's kind of cool.
I think it took them, 4 years?
Came in 98, won 2001, yeah. Wow, 98, 99, 2000, yeah, 4 years into it. And I think Florida won in 5, the Marlins. So, but Diamondbacks, real exciting. The other night, Alec Thomas hit a home run, and they won, tied the series 2-2. I think they were motivated because Philly said if they clinch in Arizona, they were going to jump in the pool.
Sure.
So I bet you the players were like, they're not going to win this. We got to win it. So it's going back to Philly. Tomorrow they'll play. Monday, hopefully they go to Game 7. And it's anybody's game if it goes to Game 7. So that's big. Houston's up 3-2. They play today. Texas won the first 2 in Houston. And then Houston came to Texas, Dallas area, and just won 3 straight in Texas Rangers ballpark, which is like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't win 1 game at home. You just lost 3 straight.
Those are a lot of pissed off fans who spent a lot of money and time and effort to get
Now it's going to Houston. They can clinch it. They have the next 2 games there. Who's to say they win, though? They could lose those 2 games. Texas won 2 already in Houston. They could win 2 more. Who knows? But, hopefully the Diamondbacks pull it out. That'll be fun, exciting, but that's pretty much it for D-backs.
Let me talk about one player, Corbin Carroll.
Stud. Cheap.
22, right?
Yeah.
22 years old.
10-year contract, like
10-year contract.
$107 million or something.
Does he have the potential to be the face of that franchise?
Oh, he is the face of the franchise now.
He is.
Because he's the thing is, when you're a fan and you want to buy a jersey or something, you got to think, how long is this guy going to be there? Right? You don't want to buy a Longoria jersey. He's going to be gone this year. There's a lot of jerseys like Goldschmidt jerseys. Now he's not there anymore. He was fun while it lasted, but he's gone.
Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen's the free agent coming up soon. We don't know how long he's going to be there. He's a stud. Mm-hmm. Arizona doesn't sign people that long unless they're going to change the regime and start, doing some things. Corbin Carroll's going to be there for 10 years. So you can buy his jersey. Mm-hmm. He's going to be there. So that'd be smart to buy his stuff because, you'll be able to watch him for the next 9 years after this, or 10 years, I think it is. So you're good with him. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Maybe Ketel Marte, maybe some other younger guys, Jordan Lawler, but they're not guaranteed. Carroll is the closest to guaranteed because they could always trade him.
Now, Corbin Carroll, do you think he'll be good enough one day to be Mr. Arizona in professional sports?
Got to win a World Series.
Would that put him above Devin Booker if they win a World Series?
Yeah, Devin Booker hasn't won a championship.
Yeah, I know. Because I think you and I agree right now the current active professional sports player for Arizona is Devin Booker.
Kyler Murray. What?
Oh, goodness.
Just kidding.
No,
no, Devin Booker. Devin Booker, 100%.
I don't think anyone. Who comes second? It's not a Coyote. It's not. It could be a Baker, right?
Buda Baker?
Gosh, I hope he extends his contract with the Cardinals,
so.
Right? I wouldn't mind him being a forever Cardinal.
He's my favorite Cardinal right
Just
now.
Based on his attitude, I'm happy with it.
He's my favorite Cardinal
the talent
to watch.
Plus good attitude.
But you'd almost have to say the second face of the franchise or the second face of Arizona would probably be Kevin Durant. And he hasn't even been here long. That's how small the list is. Corbin Carroll, not yet. It's 1 year. You got to see more.
Okay, what about runner-up?
There's no one on the Diamondbacks that's a runner-up. The Diamondbacks don't have Zach Gallen, maybe. He's the longest tenured Diamondback who's a stud. Ketel Marte's been there longer, but Zach Gallen's a bigger name. Mm-hmm. He's more talented. We gave up a Jazz Chisholm, stud shortstop, to get him. We had to give up our star player at the time to go get Zach Gallen, who wasn't that big of a name, but everyone thought he was going to be big one day. So, I don't know. That's a great question. I think if you can't go back to NBA, there's no Coyotes. I don't know anyone on the Coyotes. No one. They are horrible. I don't even want to watch them. But I think
that's another discussion of the Coyotes. What are they doing with that franchise?
That's a horrible franchise. It's horribly ran. It's in chaos. I think they're doing it on purpose so they just leave.
Think so?
And I'm a Penguins fan anyways, but then I'll just start watching Las Vegas games. Mm-hmm. It's the next closest city. It's a 4-hour drive, 4.5-hour drive. So
I think Arizona just wants to have the 4 sport teams.
You have to. We're big enough to have that.
There's only a handful of places that have that.
About 5 that you count on your hand that have that, right? Philly has that. New York has that. LA has that.
Florida?
Chicago. Florida.
Florida's a state, sure.
Florida's a state. But not as a city. Miami? NBA, football, baseball. Miami has it. Florida Panthers. Yeah. So there's about 6 total that I can think of. 7, Boston. There has to be 3 more that we're not thinking about.
Okay, yeah.
Dallas.
Because there's plenty of cities that have like 1, maybe 2 professional sports.
Or even up to 3, yeah.
Or maybe up to 3, right? It's like Green Bay. They only have football.
Yeah, that's all you need. It's owned by the fans anyways.
And besides, people will just go by like Milwaukee. Close enough, right?
What? Speaking of football, what's going on in the NFL?
So, as we're talking, football games.
My Raiders are playing the Bears right now.
And at the time of this recording, it's week 7 in football. And you've been putting out your predictions out there.
Oh, we right now we can't see the scores, so let's just go who we thought. I thought the Saints were gonna win that game. So pissed.
Against the Jaguars?
Yeah, so pissed. Ravens and Lions is a tough game because the Lions they're doing well. I picked the Ravens because they're home.
I pick Lions because I think Lions are
They're
pretty
great.
good this
Raiders because that's my team. Plus the starting quarterback for the Bears not playing, but then that could be a plus for them. I don't know.
Bears are so bad.
So horrible. I love it.
Browns and Colts.
I picked the Browns because they beat the Niners last week, and I lost some money on that, so I'm pretty mad.
Oof. Yeah,
Bills.
I think I went with Browns.
Bills destroy the Patriots. Oh my gosh, I didn't know Patriots were 1-5.
Wow, that's another terrible team.
Wow, so it was Brady. It wasn't Belichick.
It
was not
the next
Belichick.
you had the Commanders and
Commanders won
Giants.
now. Giants are gonna be. They're all in on Caleb Williams. They're gonna get rid of Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm. Next is Falcons and Buccaneers.
Bucks at home.
Steelers and Rams.
I have to go Steelers.
I'm going with Rams. Steelers have been disappointing me.
Yeah, Rams disappoint me too, but I hate LA because they're in the.
I hate LA too. All right, Cardinals and Seahawks.
I'm gonna say Seahawks. Cardinals
I'm
are
still
1-5.
continuing on my bets against the Cardinals.
Yep.
I couldn't last time against the Bengals because I was in Bali, but.
Broncos over the Packers.
You're picking Broncos?
Yeah, I'm picking the Broncos. I need them to win so they can be two wins opposed to the Cardinals.
There's a handful of teams that are 1-5.
A lot.
I just noticed that.
Look at the Chiefs and Eagles and Dolphins are 5-1. Oh, Miami versus Eagles. That's why my buddy's in Miami. He's watching that's at the Eagles. Never mind. Kansas City easily gonna win the Chargers. Easily. We just won over that one. Eagles and Dolphins is a tough one. That's the Sunday night game. That's a tough one. I want to say Eagles, but I wouldn't be surprised Miami pulled it.
Those are two good teams right there.
Yep. Who do you think?
I'm going to go with the surprise, and it's going to be Miami.
All right. San Fran over Minnesota. Minnesota sucks.
Yep. Why did they even have that spot?
Yep.
Teams on the bye: Panthers, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Jets, and Titans. The Texans Texans are what, 3-3?
They won't lose this week.
Texans are not as bad as other teams. I mean, they're still a crap team, but they've won more than they've won at least 2 games.
Interesting.
But yeah, anything else we got going on?
Oh, the score. Oh my God, the Bears are beating the Raiders. Baltimore's destroying the Lions.
Oh, I scrolled up.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
New England's winning, the Giants are winning. Dude, we suck at picking teams. We suck at picking teams.
Oh no.
We're worse than 50% right now.
I hope people are not taking my advice.
Financial advice.
I know.
Because we suck.
Wow, Bears are winning against the Raiders.
That's
destroying
pathetic.
Detroit.
That is pathetic.
All right. And Buffalo's struggling against the Patriots. What do you know?
That's sad for Buffalo.
But that's a rival team, though.
It's rivalry. So it is Belichick. Just kidding. Belichick's like the Emperor Palpatine. Gives me that feel. That's it. That's all we have for this week.
Yeah. Not too long, but we have a lot going on. We want to get a podcast out.
We wanted to get a show out. I haven't been out in a month. So we got this. Next week, we'll probably bring someone on. Kind of want to bring Jimmy on or Mike. I don't know, someone. We'll figure that out. We'll talk about it during the week.
There's a lot going on. So hopefully we find someone either about war or politics, maybe finance. There's a lot of good topics out there.
There's a lot of topics. And a lot's going to happen this week. So we'll see what happens. All right. Until next time, Luke and Danny are out.